Hey guys, another episode of Cool Guy Stuff with your man Mike, the cool guy. Today we have pulled the Equinox, there it is, sorry, not very good at this, the Equinox in, hey there's Ethan, hey buddy, just under the front cover there because we're going to be doing the timing chain on it. Alright, so we're going to check out the trouble codes on this 2014 Chevrolet Equinox. It's got a check engine light. So we're going to use an OBD2 scanner. These things are relatively inexpensive. You can get one for about 35 bucks or so. That's Canadian. That's where I am. So for you Americans, it's probably closer to 30 bucks. Either way, they're not hard to get, and they're used on models, I think 96 and newer, something like that. Anyways, and then, so just under the dash, you're going to find a plug. It looks like that. Same shape as this. Plug that into there. And away you go. Alright, we've got it plugged in. There we go. Camshaft position timing over advanced. Okay, and see up in the corner, 1 out of 6. So we can look at the other codes. There we go, and of course, camshaft B. So we got A and B. So one will be intake, one's exhaust. Yeah, same. Intake air temperature sensor. Okay, barometric pressure sensor, circuit low. Interesting. Alright. Well, we'll look at what all that's about. Easiest thing to do, guys, like this obviously tells you what the problem is, but you can Google search these codes and you can see what other people have done to rectify the problem. So, quick Google search, we can figure out what to do about all these different problems we're having. Alright, so that's what's up with this guy. Okay, here it is. So, see, I've kind of got it under the cover, so I should be able to continue on this. Unless it starts like downpouring. But basically, we get this off, get the valve cover off, and this is the front of the engine there. So the timing chain is in there. So, yep, we'll have to get all that apart. No idea how long this is going to take. I've never done one on this engine. I've done timing chains, but not one on this Chevrolet Ecotec. This is a 2.4 liter Ecotec. This is a 2014 Chevrolet Equinox. So, let's see what happens. Wish me luck. Hey, Ethan? Can we do it?
Yes, we can.
Yes, we can. Gloves. Come on. Off of there. There you go. Throttle body. Alright. Throttle body. Come on, there we go. Valve cover. There it is. So, the way I figured out that the timing chain, at least I think it's the most likely. So, these are camshaft position sensors right here. I don't know if position sensor is really the right word, but anyway, these two camshaft sensors, this thing had a check engine light. I can show you the code. It's throwing up an error code for both sensors. It says the camshaft, exhaust camshaft, intake camshaft, both were advanced. And guys, yes, the sensor might have gone bad. That's theoretically possible. But when you have two sensors that go at the same time, it's not the sensors. That's the same philosophy of, you know, if you're in your bedroom and all of a sudden your lamp goes out and your computer screen shuts down, it's probably not that both things burned out at the same time. It's probably the breaker popped or your house has no power. It's not going to be the individual thing. Same difference here. Both these went at the same time. It's not those. So I just popped these connectors off. Sometimes it can be helpful to take pictures of things like this. So this one here, it's got the gray plug. It's for that one. This one here, it's got the purple plug. It's for that one. You don't want to get these mixed up later. Okay, air filter assembly is out of the way. Our timing chain is in here, so that's one end of the camshaft. The other end, the other camshaft. Chain goes right over top and loops down around like that. Okay, I've got all the spark plug wire is disconnected there. Yeah, these leads go down to the spark plugs. They might have to come out, but I doubt it. The valve cover should just come straight off. As long as this guy here doesn't get in the way. We'll figure that out. I might have to disconnect it there. It's just got a clip. Anyways, for now, let's get zipping. Okay, moment of truth. All the bolts are out. This right here still might be a bit of an issue, but we're gonna try and pry this guy off. There we go. Yeah, getting there. And seeing how this moves, yeah, I think I should take those out, get those out of the way. And yeah, it's just gonna be easier to pull those out. So I'm gonna pull those out. Oh, wife's taking the Monty for a spin. She's got a few errands to run, and seeing as I've got that car immobile and that car immobile, and my mother-in-law has taken the other car, well, this is now the daily driver. How cool is that? Okay, so as suspected, this guy is definitely in the way. So it's simple enough to remove. Right here, there's a little clip, and it's just like that. See? Little spring clip. So you push that over like that, and it should, being the word, slide off. Yeah. There you go. Just like that. And then we'll get this up out of the way without breaking anything. There. Okay, valve cover is off. So, there you are. 4-cylinder engine. 1, 2, 3, 4. Intake or exhaust. Honestly, I'm not sure. No, intake. It's gonna be intake. Intake and exhaust. And here's our cams and our timing chain. So, yeah. Honestly, it doesn't look that bad. It's just a little concerning. But the tensioners that are in here, they're known to break. So down in there, there's actually a plastic tensioner. A new one came in the kit, obviously. So yeah, you'll see, and we'll pull this apart. And if it's broken, great, we know that's our problem. If it's not broken, well, we might have to go searching for what else is causing this thing. Okay, so we're at the point now where stuff's gonna have to start coming off the front. This is a motor mount right here. So we're gonna undo those, and we're gonna undo these bolts here and pull this mount off. But before we do that, before we go pulling motor mounts, we need to support the motor with something. And we're also gonna need to drain the oil. So just about everything for up here is done for now. We're gonna get the car lifted up a little bit, and get some blocks of wood and stuff, something to wedge under the motor, because the car is gonna be on the jack stands. And then we'll get that out. Alright, we're gonna have to get the wheels off too, at least on this side. This is the side with the timing chain. So we're gonna get the wheels off, the wheel off as well. Hey Charlotte. So when you're doing that, what I like to do is I put the jack under there just to take a bit of the pressure off the wheel. You can see the tire actually start to, the bulge on the side of the tire from the weight of the vehicle. It just lifts, but the wheel won't spin, it won't turn. So you've taken the load off of the lugs, but it's not gonna start spinning as you're trying to undo them. That's what I like to do. And then the other thing is try not to take off your wheel lug nuts with the ratchet, because there's little teeth in here, right? Tiny little gears, and they are very, very strong, and they are generally replaceable. You can get these pieces out here and you can service them, but still, if you've got a breaker bar like this, right, it's not gonna snap the way those little gear teeth will. So this is the better option. Get those bolts loose with this, and then go ahead and spin them with whatever, your impact or this or whatever. So, my advice, but hey, if all you've got is a ratchet set, socket set with a ratchet, go ahead. I've done it, but be aware. So, I've got my little length of aluminum pipe here to extend our bar. Let's see how this goes. Oh, there it goes. Yeah. Whew. Only 4 more to go. We've got these loose. Now that they're loose, we can get this jacked up. We'll support this with a jack stand, and then we'll zip those off with our impact gun. Impact guns are for twisting things off, not on, people. So, I'm sure many of you noticed that these are nice shiny sockets. These are not impact sockets. They're not meant to be used on an impact driver. Like Ethan there, spinning this around. He's having a good old time with that. These are impact sockets. Okay? Impact sockets have a dull finish, and they're much thicker. This is my impact set. And they're made like that. They're meant to be hammered back and forth by the gun. So, just the square drive on the back of them is intended to be smacked back and forth with an impact, whereas the other ones are not, and they will actually round themselves out. See? Ethan there spinning that, having a good old time, is no problem, but you don't want to start hammering away at them. So we got that supported with the jack stand now. We're gonna get this on there, zip those off. You ready, Ethan?
Yep.
Okay, let's get this off here. Okay. Bring it over. Come on over. Okay. Get that on there. There you go. There's one. Alright, next. 2. Nice job, Ethan. Squeeze it. There we go. Good. There you go. Alright, did it. It's all of them. Thanks, bud. Job well done. Okay. Got our lug nuts there. Now often wheels, especially ones that have been put on with an impact gun, they're not going to want to shift off half the time like that. See, this one's coming off nice and easy. See, there's not too much rust in there. But a lot of times, these things will get stuck on there. And all you got to do is give them a good solid kick. Just go bang, just like that. And it'll get those off. So, in here, there, you can see those are the bolts there for our timing cover. It's this thing right here. And there's the crankshaft pulley, sometimes known as a harmonic balancer. And yeah, we're gonna have to get that pulled off. So this cover here is gonna have to come off, and we might have to get this pulled and out of the way. I don't know. I hope not, but we'll see. We might have to do some surgery. We'll see what we get to. Okay, so see in here, see these clips, right, that are holding these on? Right there. There's a clip, there's a clip. The way these work, you don't just pry them out. There's a little slot right there. And you pop these guys out semi-gently, okay? And they should kind of lift. And then the whole thing will just kind of slide out. And then, I'm gonna need 2 hands, so once that pops up, the whole thing will fall out, and then you put it back in the reverse order. You stick it back in, and then you push the center part in. Okay, there you go, got it out, so you can see what I'm talking about. Right, see, so this piece here will squeeze through the hole. Right there, there's the hole. We'll squeeze through when this center part's popped out of it. Right, so it just pops out like that. And then you push this back in, and you push that center piece back in to lock it in place. Okay, so we're gonna drain the oil right now, and when possible, you always want to use a wrench, if you can, because where wrenches apply the force is closer to the head of the bolt. So for example, if you're using a socket, and let's say it's, a deep socket's that long or something, you're applying more pressure further away from where you want that torque. So wrenches, when you can use them, realize they have limited application, same as sockets. Sometimes you just can't get them in place. But wrenches, if possible. Oh. There we go. Bucket where I want it. This is hard to do with one hand holding a phone. By the way.
Change my diaper.
All right, Ethan, 1 minute. We'll get this oil draining, then I'll change your diaper. There we go. Looks like it was time for a change anyway. So, there it is. Alright, back to work. Alright, so I'm gonna pull that out and I'm gonna take some of these 2x4s here and stack them up under there and try to get them wedged up against the underside of the engine to support it when we pull out engine motor mount. Anyways, brings me to my next thought. Ethan there, running around with my creeper. There's really no reason to spend a whole lot of money on tools if you don't have to. Creeper's one of them. You can get away with using a carpet or cardboard or whatever. In the meantime, creepers are nice to have, but they're not necessary. Okay, so I've got a stack of 2x4s here and a piece of 3/4 inch plywood, but there's a little gap there, maybe a 1/2 inch or so, maybe a little bit more, 3/4 of an inch. So another piece of plywood I could probably wedge in there. I'll see if I can find a piece, but even if it drops that little bit, that's not so bad. Okay, that's supported enough that it won't be a problem. Because motor mounts do have a rubber kind of grommet in them to allow the motor to move and wiggle when you shift gears from forward to reverse. It gives it a little bit of play. So it's not going to put too much strain on the motor mount on the other side as it dips down that little bit. And that's all we're trying to avoid. Next step, tensioner. Right here, there's a little square right there. Put your socket in there and pull the tension off this belt and get the belt off. Okay, another trick I don't really recommend, but I'm going to do it. Stick a wrench on there like that so I can get the leverage I need on this. See? There we go, got that bracket off, got the tensioner off. There they are right there. Okay, so we got all that stuff off, so now gotta get the crank pulley off of there. But of course, when you go to turn it, it turns over the entire engine. So the camshafts actually have flat spots right there on them. So you turn that around until you can get the flat spots lined up that you can get a wrench on the flat spots. Okay? Oh. Jesus, that's tight. That's what she said. So, went at it a different way. Went with a couple of extensions, a socket, and the trusty pipe. Got it done. So if you are planning to take a break or anything like that during your project, like I am, I'm gonna go inside, have some food. Cover it up with a plastic bag, something like that, so that junk doesn't blow into it. Okay, tasty food. Thank you for the lovely dinner, Alexandra. Lovely wife. Let's get back to it. There we go. Right where we left off. Okay, I've come in here. I'm going to grab a piece of cardboard. This looks good. Ripped up my cardboard box. Why? Because I'm a genius. There we go. Now that'll catch those drips. There's that rain coming. Look at that. Okay, so the timing cover there is off. I actually had to go grab a sizable pry bar to get it off of there. But here's what we're looking at. This vehicle uses plastic parts in here. See these pieces here? This one right here in particular. Probably can't see it. This thing's got terrible lighting. But there's a metal, or sorry, a plastic tensioner there. There we go. See that? Right there. Little plastic finger looking thing there. It's covering up that screw. Yeah. That's a plastic tensioner. You can see it's got a slight curvature to the timing chain, which means that thing's working. Which means I'm not 100% sure anymore this is our problem. But it is possible that this chain is stretched. I don't know. Because we've got the kit, we're going to replace it. We're already this far. Hopefully this does fix our problem. Well, not 100% sure if these tensioners are... Sorry. So not 100% sure if these tensioners are buggered up or not, but take a look at this. That's a lot of slack in there. I rotated the engine around a little bit just to see how things were moving. And yeah, something got stuck or caught or whatever. Got lots of slack in that. So I'm thinking, even though they're not broken, I definitely think this is our problem. Alright guys, welcome back. It was getting way too dark last night. We weren't able to see anything with the camera and stuff, and so I just figured forget it, get a good night's rest, and get back at it today. So here we are. Right, we're back. Same spot, everything, but now when I show you guys stuff, hopefully you'll actually be able to see it. Alright. And here we are. So we're gonna remove this guide here. It's like a timing chain guide. It basically just keeps it from flapping around and smacking the top of the valve cover. So we'll remove that. 2 bolts right there, no problem. And then we got the tensioner right there, that black plastic piece right in the middle. Right there, that piece. Sorry, trying to do this one-handed. And then we got the other tensioner right over there. That piece there, there's a bolt right there. There's nothing on the other end of it except the piston that's at the back. And see, now you might actually be able to see it when I show it to you. Let's see. Can I get this thing over there? It's kind of hard to see back there. So, you know what? I'm just going to have to show it to you from the other end. But, hey, it's back there. Trust me. And they sent me a part, so we're going to replace all those. And this little piece right here, that little black piece there, is a little oil control valve or something along those lines. And they sent us a new one of those in the kit as well. So we'll install all those parts, and of course install our new timing chain, and throw this thing back together. And the moment we've all been waiting for. The box of new parts. Ooh. Alright. Perfect. Oil nozzle. There you go. That's what that part was called. Anyways. And there's our chain. Perfect. With 3 sets of timing marks. Good. Oh, perfect. And all the instructions for everything. Here, this is going to be the tensioner, which is that. That's what it looks like. So that's the big bolt that's on the back end of the engine that I can't seem to get the camera to show you. Alright, so in order to get the plastic tensioner out that's in here, okay, this piece right here that extends up, there's a screw in there. You gotta get this out right here, that's plug. So, let's get that out. Okay guys, so back there where you can't see, but I've got the rag, because when I pull this plug out, there's gonna be a bit of oil dripping there. So there you go. Yeah, I don't know if it's supposed to be discolored like that. Whatever. So Oh, there it is. There's a better view. Look at the size of the nut on this thing. Real pain in the ass to get a big wrench back there to get this undone. But, hey, whatever. It's done now. Put it there with our other bits. And here's the tensioner. So that was the screw up at the top end that we needed to pull out that little plug for. And of course, you got the bolt at the bottom. That literally fell out. And I've got the screw. Now that this is loosened off, get the screw out of the other tensioner, and hopefully it comes out. Alright, got the screw out of that tensioner right there, but it is stuck. See, there's no more tension on the chain, so hoping with some wiggling and moving we can get it a little more slack, not up here but down there, and get that wiggled out. There we go, got enough slack in it that I was able to get the chain to lift off. So now that that's off, we'll easily be able to get that tensioner out. And then of course, these two timing gears here have to come out, so bolts on either end, and then the chain should just pull right out, or drop right out, either way. Should come out. Okay, so, yeah, I just used my wrench on the camshafts, got those two sprockets off of there, and then of course timing chain practically dropped out, and the tensioner dropped out, no problem. So here's our two camshaft sprockets, and there's our timing chain. Okay, so now putting in the new timing chain tech tip. So you kind of have to put it in through the bottom and hook it up, because there's little pieces in here you kind of have to loop it around. It's easier to use like a coat hanger or something like that, and send it up with some kind of a homemade tool rather than trying to fish your hand in there. Use a coat hanger, save you a lot of time and effort. Alright, I didn't have a coat hanger handy, funny enough, so I just used a piece of copper wire. See? I just bent a little loop for my finger and a little hook for the chain. I'm just going to hook it in like that, grab the timing chain, pull it up, and grab it. Alright, so got the new timing chain on, and, oh, sorry, and we got the timing marks aligned, so you can see there's a little arrow between these two little pads there, I don't know what you want to call them. And yeah, yellow one, and then over here we've got a black one. It's gonna be a little harder to see, but there it is. See? Arrow, black timing mark. Okay, and this chain's only gonna go on one way because it's the space between these two marks and the space between the third mark is obviously very different. So you don't have to worry about goofing that up or anything like that. They're not gonna line up in any other way. My neighbor and I were talking, hanging out by his garage. He's showing me his truck. He just bought a 1994 Ford, which honestly for the year thing is just in excellent shape. And he's planning to do a engine swap and all kinds of cool stuff, and maybe we'll feature it on the channel. We'll see. But at the moment, he and I were talking, and he would like a garage radio, and I told him obviously you can't have that one right behind me, but I do have this old Kenwood stereo up there. It's missing a volume knob, but it works, and it actually works really well. So I told him that, you know, he's a good neighbor and everything, and he can have it. So I'm gonna bring it over to him because I'm a cool guy. All right, guys. So got the new timing chain on. All the marks are now lined up, just the way they're supposed to be. See? And I've put the tensioner in and the bolts. Now it's just a matter of putting the new guide on there, right, in the box, and throwing all of this back together exactly the way it came out. Everything is back together just the way it should be. Wheels back on, and we're just putting the last bit of oil in this thing. Tech tip, rather than pouring a jug like that, because it'll start to drip before you can get this thing even close to flat, tip it sideways like this. Just trust me on that. Works better. There you go. Look at that nice fresh oil. Nice honey color. That's what it's supposed to look like, not black. And the proper way to check oil, right? Pull the dipstick out, wipe it off with a rag, stick it back in all the way in, like that. And then be very careful pulling it out that you don't wipe the edge of the dipstick on the edge of the oil tube here, the oil pickup. Because it can goof up the readings a little. It's really not that big a deal, but yeah, wipe with a rag, stick it back in, and then check. And then we'll see if this thing starts up. Alright guys, here it is, the moment we've all been waiting for. Let's turn it on. And it runs. And we have no check engine light. Alright. That's a job well done. Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed this build, give me a like, follow, subscribe, all that good stuff. If you didn't enjoy it, let me know. Tell me what I could do differently. Yeah. See you next time on Cool Guy Stuff.